This comes from chapter 4.1, and I'm going to show you how to find the mean, the standard deviation, and then the variance on the calculator. Now that's kind of backwards because normally you find the mean, the variance, and the standard deviation in that order when you're doing it by hand. But our calculator really doesn't have a capability to do variance. It does standard deviation, and then you can back up and see the variance. It's figuring the variance to be able to get standard deviation, but you don't actually see it. So this is a problem that's in the chapter 4.1 if you want to find it and read through the problem so you'll know where these numbers came from. It says find the mean, variance, and standard deviation of the discrete probability distribution shown in the table. This information comes from a personality inventory test for passive-aggressive traits. And you can find this example in chapter 4.1, and I think it's probably example 2 in all the additions, but because we use different additions and I don't want to have to record all of this stuff again, I really just don't tell you what page number it's on, but I think it's example 2 in chapter 4.1 in every edition I've seen recently. But anyway, industrial psychologist gives a personality inventory test, and the results for the people who got a 1, because the results were scored from 1 to 5, with 1 being extremely passive and 5 being extremely aggressive. There were 24 people who were extremely passive, and when you divide 24 by the 150 employees, you get 0.16. And then you divide for the number 2, there were 33 people, and you divide that by the 150 employees that they tested, and you got 0.22. So anyway, that's how the numbers came about, and you can go back and look at that problem because I don't really need to do that problem to be able to show you this. So I'm going to pull the calculator up, and we're going to put these numbers in the stat menu. So I'm going to turn the calculator on. I'm going to the stat menu, and remember you really have to do this with the mouse to operate this calculator. So I'm going to edit, and I'm going to put numbers. If you had numbers in here, you would go up on L1, you would press clear, move it down, and the numbers would be gone. They're not gone immediately, but they're gone when you move it down. So I'm going to type in the numbers, and I'm just going to put in the X numbers. So the X values always go in L1, and that's really going to be Y values to go in L2. So I'm going to move over to this other column, and I'm going to type in 0.16, and then I'm going to type in 0.22, then I'm going to type in 0.28, and I'm going to type in 0.20, and I'm going to type in 0.14, and those were the numbers that turned out to be the percentages in the probability distribution table. And those are like your Y coordinates. So when you get ready to do this, all you have to do now is you're going to go back to stat. You're going to go over to calculate, and I want one variable stats. But I have numbers in L1 and L2, so I need to tell it that I need to tell the calculator I have numbers in both. So I'm going to press this yellow key, and 1 because L1 is written in yellow. Then I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm going to press the yellow key again and tell it that tell the calculator I have numbers in L2, and then I'm going to press enter, and here's my mean, which is 2.94, and here's the standard deviation, which is 1.271. Normally the calculator will ask us to, the lab will ask us to round things off to 3 numbers behind the decimal. So you would round that to 1.271. And notice there is no sample standard deviation because we're just working here with a probability distribution table. Alright, and so to finish that up, I'm going to do the variance. So I just type in 1.271, and I square it, and that gives me the variance. So I have the mean here, the standard deviation here, and now I've got the variance.